Hello and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yazmin and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Elora Greyvale and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hello, I'm Colin and I play Cuin de Greymont, a paladin from Thraben in the province of Gavany.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shorefort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I play Otto, a spring sage from Hanweir sworn to the land, wandering the plain and setting wrongs to right with his ursine companion, Bojo.
Last time, in episode 124, while still suffering a delicate disposition, Cuin managed to man up to a missile delivery that was most markedly magical in nature. With no discernible way to deactivate the door's defences, it was a case of retracing their route back to the plateau and opting for the other tunnel, which was bound to lead to further trouble. And so it came as no surprise to our heroes to have their suspicions confirmed as, in another smaller cavern, a salt-encrusted corpse, complete with its key and chain, gave its gatecrashers anything bar a warm welcome. Suffice to say, it all kicked off once more. Accurate archery was achieved, and by this point in the day's proceedings, our druid's disposition had taken a bit of a downturn, and it was a slightly stroppy cephalopod that swung into action, giving the salty sea dog a condiment convergence as he gave him a proper peppering with some serious legwork. And lest we forget the party paladin. After the chronically bad afternoon that Cuin had endured, the clash for the key culminated in him adding yet another decapitated torso to his tally. And now, after that recap, it is surely time to smoothly slide back into the story. Episode 125, Magic Mussels.
So we've reviewed the critical roll rules. Previously, the way we were running it as lower level, because it made sense, was that you'd get a full damage die plus, and then you'd re-roll your damage die for extra damage. We're going to change that because we're now all level 9, and we're now getting into kind of higher ACs, higher amounts of hit points. So what we're going to do is we'll run it as from the book, so the multipliers from the book. If you've got a bow, that's a ×3, if it's a sword, it's a ×2, etc. Using the same critical threat ranges, obviously, unless there is any feat or any boon affecting that. So what we'll run is you confirm the critical, and then when you roll your damage, you will have a full dice of damage and then multiply that by the modifier. So if you roll a d8, you will have 8 ×3. Then with any additional effects, if you roll a d6 and you've got a sword which is ×2, it will be 6 × 2, 12 points of damage plus any extras. Yeah, we're all happy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
Okay, right, so you have all begun to make your way back across this larger cavern where you fought off the dragon eel, making your way across the wooded gangways and the plant-crust. As you came across this opening where the dragon eel had been entangled, both Otto and Ogvar were able to spy through this small-ish hole, peering into the depths of the water. You were both able to just about see what appears to be the top of a tower. You can see castellated battlements, and you can see an archer's slit in the side of it as well. You can't see where it ends, you can't see how deep it goes, because obviously as you go deeper in the water, you lose the light, and especially now with this plant crust across the top, you have even less vision because even less light is getting through. You've almost got this kind of single illuminated shaft which you can see. So, what are you doing?
Well, look down there, Otto. It's a funny place to have a tower down there.
I think she'll get one of my tentacles and sort of raise it up and flap the end of it up and down a little bit. Maybe the closest thing to nodding you're going to get from me at the moment.
Cuin, Elora, I'd like to draw your attention to something. I'll go sort of just point down the hole in the plant crust. A little bit odd, but there seems to be a tower down in the bottom. It's an odd place to keep one.
Elora will walk up towards the edge and peer down very carefully. That looks like a tower.
Well, yes. You don't suppose that might be Jenrick's tower?
Well, no, we saw a physical tower, which is where we left Esther. So, from looking at it, would Elora... Is it an exact replica? Does it look like... It doesn't look like Jenrick's tower. It's different. Jenrick's tower is like all odd angles and looks like it's not...
That was a tower. You don't know it was Jenrick's tower.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, you think... Oh, that's an interesting concept.
Well, that's all well and good, but that one's underwater. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not used to swimming down that far to get into anywhere for any length of time.
Well, I'm quite good at swimming, and I haven't got a problem. I can actually get into that. I can breathe underwater.
I think with that statement, Otto's going to rise up a little bit on his tentacles and just do a very expansive after you movement with two tentacles pointing to water and two ushering towards you, and just ushering you that direction.
And he can definitely, at this moment in time...
I'd say he's probably the best suited.
I would say probably is.
Well, what are we going to do with this key? We've fought things back and forth. We've killed a crusty old zombie to get this key to go into the lock.
But you're assuming that key goes into that lock. We don't actually know.
Well, we haven't
that.
tried it yet, have we?
We haven't.
I mean, it goes into something. Huh?
I suppose we could do that now.
Well,
And if we get no joy, you and our friend here can go down and have a look-see.
Well, we could try it in the lock and see if it does fit that door. First.
Oh, yes. The tower underwater.
Yes.
Does it look like all covered in watery plants? Or is it sort of quite pristine, like it's possibly...
No, it's quite pristine and it looks quite shiny. Looks like it's made of something extremely sturdy. It certainly doesn't look like stone.
Oh.
Looks more like metal of some kind.
Okay.
So it's not a barnacle building?
No. So...
Because don't forget, we have got two of our people waiting outside this upper one. Esther's there with Bojo. Or I think Bojo's there.
There's one thing that's bothering me about this.
Only one?
Elora's going to just touch the water with her finger and just taste it. Is it salt water?
Yes.
And as she's looking at this tower, its reflection as it kind of refracts underwater, does it look pristine?
Yes, it looks... Well, from what you can see, it does look pristine, yes.
You see, there's one thing here that's bothering me, Ogvar. This here is salt water. That doesn't seem to have... That looks new. From what I can see, from the bit I can see from the shallows. So, why does that not look like it's been underwater for very long?
I don't know.
That's not normal.
No, I would agree. It looks in remarkably good condition for its location.
And the boat is covered in barnacles and greenery and things, is it?
Yeah, the boat is, you've been on it. It's wooden. It's a bit slimy with kind of algae perhaps, but it's got barnacles. It's got little sea creatures. The occasional little starfish crawling around.
So, you've got this boat. Look at the state of this that's been in this water,
Yes.
right? And then you've got a tower that is or apparently a tower that is in the water, but it is pristine.
Yes.
Something's not right.
No. Well, a course of action, I would suggest then, as Cuin has stated, we have a key. Key in the lock, see what happens. And then, if nothing happens, look at the tower.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Let's do things topside before we look at doing anything radical, I think. Because nothing seems to be what it is. So the minute we arrived at the tower up top, nothing is as it seems.
No, I agree.
Okay, Otto, I'm just gonna... I'm waving back at him, although he can understand... I'm assuming... Can he understand me? Yes, he can understand me.
Yeah, one of those
Right,
tentacles is going to
so
come up
I'm
and flap around again.
Yeah, and she's going to flap her arm and then realise what she's doing and then just quickly put it back down by her side. Yeah, let's go. Right, yeah,
At this
let's try
point,
this.
Cuin will look at Ogvar and go, huh? She saying goodbye or what?
I'm not quite sure what she does most of the time, in fairness.
That's true.
Laura's just going to shoot him a rather narrow-eyed expression. Okay, let's try your idea. I'm good with that. Cuin?
Okay.
Your idea? You lead on.
Okay.
But be careful.
Oh, okay.
I think as we're
Okay, so
leaving,
you-
I may just reach out with the tentacle and grab a couple of shellfish as a little snack on the way. Because, fresh food is always good, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys make your way across. You hear some horrifying cracking sounds as the octopus consumes its barnacly snack on the way across.
Oh, look, he's getting himself some new mussels. Ha!
I'm going to throw a shell at her.
Thank you.
Ow!
Yeah.
Surely it's not a giant clam.
I'm going to throw one at him too.
Yeah, you can roll me. I was going to say roll me some damage, but I don't really want to do that.
No! Oh no!
How long does that mage armour last?
Oh, hours.
8 hours.
9.
9 hours.
Okay, so yeah, you both, Cuin and Elora, you both get smacked in the back of the head with a crustacean shell. Elora, your hat gets knocked off. And Cuin, yours bounces off the top of your helmet.
What was that?
You make your way across the room, back up onto this gravelly shore, and back up towards the door. So you get there. I'm assuming Cuin's going to be leading first.
Yeah. Right. Have hole, have key. Here goes.
Elora would have picked up her hat, by the way, dusted it off and popped it back on her head.
Yep.
Ogvar will flatten himself against the wall.
Excellent. Okay, so Cuin, you put the key in the lock. And you turn it. You hear mechanisms begin to turn. You hear the sound of cogs turning, ratcheting quite quickly, and you can almost imagine from this sound that you have a quite complex system behind this door, whereas you've turned the key, cogs have begun to turn and it almost retracts some form of mechanism which is pinning the door into the frame. Or this, there isn't so much of a made frame, there's a natural stone frame here. Yeah, and the key turns no further.
But the door hasn't moved.
The door has not moved.
Okay.
Has it unlocked?
There was some grinding and all that, but
Innistrad after dark again.
it hasn't actually opened. So Cuin's going to try and push it or pull it.
Yeah. The door moves.
Inwards or outwards?
Moves inwards.
Ah! There we go! It's open.
Oh. Okay, so it obviously does work on this door.
Does our lights
assume-
reveal anything beyond?
Yeah, so you reveal a corridor. It slopes upwards. It is stone hewn. It's clearly unused. You can see bits of dust. It's clearly not kept clean, not well maintained. But you see a corridor leading upwards into what appears to be a lit room.
Right, I'll suppose I better go in with my shield raised just in case.
Laura's going to move up to literally just looking over Cuin's shoulder. And she's just going to call out, "Hello? Hello? Is there anybody there?" If there is Cuin, they're not answering.
Okay, so you moving into the room? What are you doing now?
Cuin's going to start edging. Do you remember the lighthouse? I'm going to slowly walk around the edge.
No, you're not doing a galore then.
No, I don't fancy plopping straight across.
That's fine.
As we
Probably sensible.
As we seem to be moving away from the water, Otto's going to move back into his own form. Horrible sort of cracking sounds as his bones reshape. It doesn't much fancy going through into a dusty room as an octopus.
Elora's just going to throw a look over her shoulder and go, "What's that?" She's going to fully look round. What does she see?
Otto,
Oh.
probably clutching at his back a little bit.
Oh.
Only me, don't worry.
Right.
Don't mind me.
Okay. It's a little disconcerting, but okay.
You should try it from this side.
Okay.
No, I'll give that a miss. Thanks a lot.
So, as you are in this doorway, I'll give you a description of the room you look into. As you look into the room, you can see on the far side, this room is probably about 12 to 15 feet tall in height.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the estimated depth of one of the floors on this tower, you would say. And directly across the room, you can, across from you, 50 foot across, you can see a staircase. It looks well made. It's made of stone. You can see reasonably, you can see stone banister with some nice kind of stone spokes. It looks quite wide. It's not. There is a sense of grandeur about it, but it's not obviously like a main sweeping staircase. It's a little bit wider than you'd expect it to be. Probably about a 5 to 6 foot wide staircase. Looks nicely built, well built, robust, and that is directly across from you. You are effectively stood at the opening to a 10-foot wide corridor. You can see along each side, most of the way towards the other end of the room, probably covering 2/3 of the room, each side of you, there are wooden walls. Everyone make me a listen check, please.
Cuin is 14 plus 1, 15.
15, nice.
Ogvar is 11 plus 9, 20.
20, lovely.
Elora is a 19 plus 5, which is 19 plus 6, which is a 25.
Lovely. Otto?
Otto has a 15 plus 16, so 31.
Oh, right, okay. All of you can hear from the left-hand wall the very quiet sounds of horses. You can hear them shuffling about. You can hear the sound of the horses obviously masticating some kind of hard food like hay or something other. You can hear the very soft sounds of hooves moving through straw and some low wickers occasionally. They're very clearly there are horses beyond this wall to your left.
I'd say this is a bit of a stables.
Well, it sounds like there are stables behind the wall, yeah.
Yes. Oh, well, might as well carry on. See if we can get to those. Well, surely, if they're stables, there's got to be a way outside. Because I can't imagine them climbing up in mid-air.
No, I get what you're saying, that logically, yeah, there would be an exit that you can take the horses out of, in theory.
I wonder if
I would like to
those
try and
are-
get a horse across this.
I wonder if those are your horses and this is the tower that we're in.
That is also possible. That is possible.
Can Ogvar knock on the wall and go, Mister, are you there?
Yeah, I mean, you knock on the wall, the horses, you hear a snort and a couple of stamping hooves. Obviously, you've startled something behind there. Esther does not respond. You don't hear a response from Esther.
Surely, if that were our horses on the outside, Ogvar, these walls, they were stone walls. Surely they would be thick. You wouldn't be able to hear anything through the wall. Surely these walls must be quite thin.
Well, yes, I suppose that's true. It could be an interior wall.
Yeah, it's wooden, isn't it?
Yeah, but aren't we still below the rock?
No, you've come up.
We
Yeah, so when you came onto this kind of gravelly shore, you had to have, again, this step up, and you went uphill towards this door. Coming through the door, you've again gone uphill.
Okay, so and there's a door opposite.
No, so you've come through the door, gone slightly uphill, and you're now stood in this entryway, 10 foot wide, wooden walls on each side, and you can see a staircase, not the front of it, but the side of it.
Okay.
50 foot on the other side.
So can we say that the wooden walls go along and then they end?
Yeah, you can see that they had kind of halfway to 2/3 of the way. Yeah.
So can Ogvar just sort of like shuffle along and to the end and just sort of look round to see what's at the end of the...
Yeah, I mean
It's like a T-junction.
Yeah, I mean kind of, yeah. So you're probably about 10 foot away from the stairs by this point. But you shuffle up to the end and looking around this left-hand wall, you can see horses. You can see this is clearly stables. You can also see a very familiar carriage.
Oh, they are horses.
Yes, they are your horses. You can see a couple of other horses. It looks to be 2 horses and an ass in there as well. One's a black horse. One's a very old flea-bitten looking grey. And the ass is an ass. It's got big ears.
And they're inside.
They are inside. They are all kind of not tethered so much. They're just kind of wandering around in like this big kind of, it's closed off. You can see like a rope barrier basically pinned to the outer wall. which keeps the horses in the one end of this area, but they're wandering around on some very fresh looking straw. You can see other bits of kind of stable hardware around. You can see some rails where saddles have been laid across. You can see, obviously you've got your carriage is parked up there. It looks like it's been tidied away quite well. You can see bales of hay stacked up, hay strewn across the floor, the occasional odd bit of horse dropping, just general kind of stuff, lead ropes, halters, brushes, what looks to be some sacks of feed. It very much looks like a very reasonably tidy, well-kept stable. It smells fresh, it doesn't smell of, you've got no ammonia scent. It smells very fresh, very clean, and the horses look like they've been brushed, tidied away. They've got hay in big kind of mangers. Yeah, they're looking quite happy and quite healthy, tucked up away from the elements.
Okay. So Ogvar will look back at the rest of the team and go, point and go, our horses are inside now.
What?
These are our horses, and no, they're inside. I'm pretty sure we parked them outside.
Laura's going to stride forward, swing round to look at what Ogvar's been looking at, and just go, what the... How have the... Are you telling me that we went through all of that and these have got in some other way? Where's Esther?
I don't know.
Esther! Esther!
Take it you'd have followed Cuin and Otto as
I'd
your
have
sorceress
gone,
kind of strides
I'd
away.
have gone, Otto, if the horses and the carriage are in here, one would assume Esther is in here. Can you sense Bojo?
Esther!
I think Bojo being Bojo, you tend to notice him very easily if he's in the area. I suspect that if he was in here, we'd know about it.
Elora's going to look down to her side. Is Rowan still in his pouch, or did he flutter out when she fell into the water?
Rowan's with you. He looks relatively dry, so you're going to assume that he didn't take a dip.
Rowan, there's strange things going on in here. Our horses and Esther must be somewhere in here. I think we're in the tower. Can you have a fly around and just go steady? But have a fly around and come back and tell me what you can find? Layout of the place or something?
Okay, so Rowan takes flight. He flutters to above the horses and begins making his way around the room. Ogvar stood at the end of the corridor, looking to your right. Again, you've got these stairs running up, curving up the tower in front of you. So they're parallel with the wall. But looking to your right, you've obviously got the end of this other wooden wall. Looking to the right, you peer around. You can see what appears to be a general store area. There are crates, boxes. It looks like, just kind of general. This is where kind of goods, living supplies, things have been dropped here. You can see some crates marked up with like sell half, some of them with Drew Now branded into the side. This is clearly goods have been brought in and stored in here. You can see, pulling open the top of a sack, you can see some herbs, some spices kind of stored in this sack. There are things like hanging from nails, like clearly big iron nails hammered into the kind of gaps in the wall. You can see herbs hanging from it drying. You can see, some fresh game. Perhaps having been salted, kind of just being stored. And you also notice something which is very much the bear in the room. You can see Bojo.
Ooh.
He's kind of almost behind this wooden partition on your right, in the middle of this area, and he looks like he's curled up on some kind of old sacks and a bit of straw that's been dropped down. You'd say perhaps specifically for him, because this area there is no straw. All the straw has been kept confined to the stable area.
Okay. So, Ogvar will very tentatively walk across to Bojo and say, oh, hello, we're back. We're all here now, so I don't know if you want to come along with me, and we'll get you back to Otto. And just sort of give him a bit of a scratch behind the ear, and sort of just see if he wants to come along.
I imagine Otto and Cuin have probably moved up close to you, so you're all kind of up this end now. I imagine Bojo will just kind of look at you, yawn a bit, and then flop back to sleep. He's probably not too interested in moving anywhere at this point in time.
Oh, I see. You're resting. Well, anyway. Otto, I seem to have found your bear.
Ah, I'm glad. Let me. Is he okay? Let me come have a look. And I'll just
Yes, by all means.
make my way over to him and again give him a little scritch behind the ears, see if he's looking okay, and give him a little bit of a hug, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Bojo's looking incredibly happy. Elora, Rowan comes back to you. He flies towards you. I assume you're going to put your hand out so you can land and take roost.
Yeah, sure.
You look at him kind of inquiringly. He gives you a round.
What?
Round.
Round? Round?
Boom, round.
Are there any stairs, Rowan?
You can see Okay, I've now described the stairs about 4 times. The
sorry.
stairs are right fucking there.
I've got 2 different descriptions down here, so I'm very confused about the
How have
shape
you-
of anything. So
How have you got 2 different descriptions?
I don't know. I just thought we were in a 50-foot round room, but then you said there was a corridor, and
No,
got
I
a bit
said when you got
confused.
to top, you can see a room.
Yeah.
When you've come into the room, you're stood in the doorway. You can see 2 large wooden walls extending 2/3 into the room. You've got the stairs parallel to the wall, running parallel to the wall, straight ahead of you. You've come up to the end. Ogvar went up to the end, looking left around the left-hand wall. You've got a stable area.
Yeah.
Looking right around the right-hand wall, you've got a storage area. These walls are curved.
But the rest of the room beyond is curved. Big space beyond the end of the.
There is no big space.
All right, I'm very. Sorry, move
No,
on.
no. I'm going to draw it because there's no point if you don't understand.
Don't screw it up on my paper.
Fine.
That's me. No.
Jesus.
It sounds like we're in a partitioned barn or something like that.
Yeah,
There's
but
your
I just-
entrance. There's some nice stairs right there. You've got a wooden partition here and a wooden partition here. This area is stables.
Yeah.
This area here is storage
I said take him away from me, didn't I?
and bear.
Yeah, it's all right. When you said
You're
Cheese
right
twists.
so you said there was it was like a T
Yeah,
junction.
no.
So I imagined it to be a room there.
Here. I
and a
didn't.
room
I didn't
there.
say it was a T junction.
Oh, I got a T junction. That's what.
No, there is no. It's
Oh, it says leads
no,
to a T
no,
junction. Oh, right.
no. It doesn't lead to a T junction.
Right. Okay.
Okay, you happy?
Yeah, I was. Round. Yeah, I can see it's round. Have you gone up the stairs?
No.
Go and have a look upstairs.
And off he goes.
Honestly,
Yeah,
sometimes.
you all see Rowan flutter up the staircase and through to presumably the next floor.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you all doing?
Well, this looks like a stable, and Bojo doesn't appear to be harmed. One would assume that Esther is somewhere in the tower.
Well, I would say so.
So
I got the impression from when we were outside the tower that perhaps this guy's got a sense of humour. Fair enough. I don't see why he would be dangerous in any way. I mean, he could have killed us. If he wanted to, he could have killed us. And he didn't. So, I'm guessing, I've already declared what our business is. So, I don't feel like this is a big threat.
Not at the moment, no, it seems quite...
It's like some
Safe.
kind of puzzle. So I think we should just go on up the stairs.
It does seem
I'm
to
guessing
be
if he
something of
didn't
an
wanna-
invitation.
Yeah, I think if he didn't want us in here, we wouldn't be in here. That's my theory.
Is there an obvious door that the horses came in through?
No, there is no obvious door.
Okay. Yes, I'm quite happy to go up the stairs, but I don't know how the horses got in here still, and it's a little bit confusing.
Well, this guy's a wizard. He's probably got a portal or some magical means, teleportation, transportation. I don't know. It's beyond me, but I've heard of these things. It's just not things that I can necessarily do.
If it becomes something of an
Right,
issue,
I'm sure I can't.
if it becomes something of an issue, I can always ask Bojo once he's feeling a little bit more awake. But in the meantime, I seem to think that there is a fairly obvious route to progress to find answers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we just go for the stairs. I think we just go in. We just go up.
Okay, sounds reasonable.
Are you going to
Okay,
lead the way,
so-
Cuin? Seems to be your favourite spot at the front.
Okay, no problem. I won't charge, but I will be ready just in case.
Okay. So you head up the set of stairs. As you merge into what you would assume would be the second floor that you've been on, you emerge into quite an interesting looking place. Elora, you would immediately recognise the scent of books here, and you emerge onto this kind of small, narrow. I say narrow. It's like a very square landing. Stairs proceed ahead of you. But this room that you've entered into is very clearly, even from first glance, a library of some sorts. Just from looking where you have arrived at the top of the stairs, you can see in the middle of this room a almost kind of a 5-foot sunken area. It's like a circle within, like almost like a core, like a donut hole. Basically, this room is designed like a donut hole, and the inside of this donut, this little centre bit, is sunk about 5 foot into a kind of a pit of some sort. It's not open. It is stone floor. It's just sunk. It's like a conversation pit from the 80s, right? But you can see surrounding the majority of this hole, probably 4/5 of this hole, are these big, thick, heavy-duty bookshelves rammed with books and papers. The inside of this donut hole, as we call it, you can see a plush-looking rug, some chairs, a couple of tables dotted around the edge, one big one in the middle, piled high with parchments, quills, bottles of ink with the caps off. It's very much this kind of chaotic workspace of, very clearly someone's been working in here, writing. You can see books which have been pulled from the shelves, stacked haphazardly. There's a stack about 7 high, which is quarter like hanging off the edge of the table. It's very much like the tower itself. The bottom is hanging off the edge. The counterweight of the rest of the books haphazardly stacked on the top is keeping it balanced here. Everything is haphazard. It's out of place. Papers everywhere. You can see a roll of parchment which is clearly rolled off the table and bounced across the room, tumbling end over end, and spilling paper everywhere in these kind of big white reams. But directly opposite, there is in this sunken area there is a fireplace with a bright blue fire crackling merrily away in the grate. And this fire, it's clearly got a column which runs right to the top of the ceiling. And then looking around the outside of the room, you can see a couple of windows, some of which have window seats. Again, this same kind of haphazard. They are stacked with papers, books, cushions. Like you can see the most eclectic mix of cushions. Some of them are a beautiful red velvet. Some of them are yellow embroidered with orange flowers. There are a vast and very eclectic clashing mix of scatter cushions. Some are big and squishy, some look small and really tightly stuffed. And this window seat itself is lovely deep blue with some beautiful silver embroidery and patterns of stars. And the rest of the room around the edge is as far as you can see, has got bookshelves. And these are big tomes. They are extremely varied. Some of these tomes are, you would say, torso-sized, Ogvar. Like they are the size of your torso, as wide, thick, heavy. They are massive. Some of the books are as small as your palm. And there is no rhyme or reason, no apparent stacking system. Some of these books you've got stacked on top of each other in the shelf. They're all sorts of colours, myriad of like leather, purples, blues, greens, oranges, browns, battered, new looking, half pulled out of the shelf. It is this eclectic state, and there is no apparent rhyme or reason. You see a book of poetry next to a book on astrology. There is no sorting, no rhyme or reason. It is chaotic.
Elora's eyes go wide. She is... Oh my God, Everson, look at this. She's going to rush over to the papers on the desk and just look at what's there. She's not going to touch anything because it's all stacked. Anything she's going to touch, she feels, is just going to cause a problem.
Yeah.
She's looking at the writings.
Yeah, the writing, it looks like a spider's fallen into an inkwell, fallen out and then had an aneurysm.
So she can't read anything.
It is pure chicken scratch.
Okay,
It is, but it is again very eclectic. You have this pure chicken scratch next to a beautiful, flowing calligraphic font, which is so beautiful and flowing that you can barely read it. There are so many swirls and whirls in it. Right? It is again just completely random. You have some points where the writing's clearly gone in, one direction, and then suddenly a new train of thought is taken over and we're going in a completely different direction. There are points where writing has been written over the top of in a different colour ink. It is completely and utterly random.
She's moving around the tables in kind of like a circular motion, just looking at all the different fonts, and she's seeing but not understanding. She's then going to go to the bookshelves and run her hands along the books and just looking at some of the titles, see if she can... She's just absolutely agog.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at these. Oh my God, look at these. Look at everything.
This room is also lit by, very much following the rest of the kind of decor taste and everything else in the room, it is lit by a vast array of lights. You have some which are just kind of guttering candles, some candles which burn green, some candles which burn purple. You have some kind of oil lamps which just look like standard oil lamps. You have others which are, absolutely minuscule and barely providing any light. Some are massive and have almost stained glass kind of shades over the top. It is random, it is eclectic, it is completely varied.
Ogvar will look at Cuin and go, it seems the books have this effect on it quite frequently.
Well, yes. As long as none of them start flying, we'll be all right. Especially that great big book over there.
There's some rather large ones there, aren't there?
Yes, I don't fancy that one. Right. Well, obviously Esther isn't here. I suppose we better, if we can, drag her up to the next floor.
Hold on, I just want to check one thing. And Ogvar wants to move across and look out the window and see if he can see we are where we think we are.
Yeah. You look out of the window, you probably have to kneel amidst all of these cushions, perhaps dig your way through to actually get to the window. I mean, it is random. You pull out a cushion and you find like an old chunk of bread which has just been left there. You're like, disgusting. But looking out the window, you can see that you are on the edge of a cliff.
Okay.
You are, looking out, you can see the sea views, you can see grass. If you look through the others, you can see that you are indeed, you would say, in the second floor of the tower.
Okay, that's good. So I turn around and go, just so everybody knows I think we're still where we think we are.
Well, I think one of our
Ended up in the
numbers
tower.
is perhaps slightly more lost than the rest of us, looking over at Elora.
Look at this. Oh, and look at this. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, and smell those books.
Elora, if I may just interrupt a moment and...
What? Hey, Oxford? What?
So, I don't want to interrupt in what you're doing, but I just thought you might need to... are you getting anything back from Rowan? Is you a little preoccupied?
Rowan? What? Hang on a minute.
Come back to where she's been sniffing book glue.
She pauses and stops squeaking for just a moment, and just tries to then focus a little bit on her bat,
Yeah.
connecting with the bat.
So this empathic link that you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just get this kind of whee sense of excitement.
I think he's excited. But I totally get that. Are you not excited? Look at this. Just look, this is amazing.
Gentlemen,
You don't look like you're getting it.
can I just ask
I
you,
appreciate-
is it normally easier just to club her rather than wait for her?
Who said that? Who's that?
I mean, I have
that
a stick,
you, Otto?
if need be.
You watch where you're waving that thing.
It seems like she takes a very keen interest in books. I myself not so interested in books, but
These are not just books. Just. Well, yes, they are books, but look at them. Just look. Look
I
at
can
these
see.
parchments. Look at this writing. This is amazing. I've never seen anything like this before.
Is that because that one is upside down?
I don't know. I can't read it.
Then it might just be. Have you tried
could
turning
be,
it
but
around?
it's still- Elora tries turning it around.
Still looks like chicken scratch.
I think he keeps chickens.
Or there's more than one author?
Well, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of flaws in this thing, from the outside anyway. Possibly.
So is there anything else in the room, or is it just bookcases?
It is simply just bookcases stacked with books. I mean, you might find an old like ham sandwich or something if you want to go scrounging around the tables, but aside from, basically undecipherable parchments, books, lamps and scatter cushions, there isn't really much of interest
Okay.
in this room.
Well, see there we are supposed to be A, looking for Jenrick, and B, looking for Esther. I think we should proceed upwards.
Are you agreeable to that, Elora?
What?
We're going to move on.
Oh, are we?
Yes.
Oh, but I mean, there's so much stuff to look.
It'll still be here on the way back down, I assume.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Ogvar will sort of walk up beside her and sort of put his hand behind her and sort of gently lead her away from her bookgasm.
Oh, and look at that over there. Yeah.
Okay, so heading up the next flight of stairs, you reach the third floor of this tower. The third floor of this tower, as you hit the top of the stairs and emerge onto, again, this small section of floor before you hit the stairs going upwards, is cordoned off. There is a pair of large metal posts with a big thick red velvet cord hung between them. Looking into the room itself, you can see piles and piles and piles of things. The room is dark, it isn't lit, so really you've just got kind of Otto's brilliance lighting the way. But you can see from floor to ceiling, it looks like there is some sort of shelving system set up, but there are so many items here. There looks, it's random things you can pick out, like what appears to be a broken jack in the box. Completely innocuous, apart from the fact that it is, covered in red string and a little label saying, "Do not touch." And this is what the entire room is like. There are certain items which have been, they are almost put in locked boxes, tied shut with red string. It looks odd, and there are towering piles of junk. Things like broken springs, coils, cogs, just piled up in random piles.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I think we should just go straight up. The various items mainly look broken.
Is anyone...
Laura's going to cast Detect Magic.
Oh, you get a fuck ton of feedback. Right? You cast this cone of magic into the room, and you are immediately assaulted by the many magical auras that are in this room. You get kind of obviously you can kind of get an idea of the sense of the type. You can get like kind of senses, all sorts of different schools of magic which you've heard about, learned about. Even to some of the darkest and most vilest magics, which you can feel coating your senses with like this, almost like this thick pond slime. Like you can get the sense that there are some real nasty things in here. But they are mixed in with all sorts of other bits, and it is this wild, chaotic sense that you just get back. There is so much feedback from this room.
Is it like turning night vision goggles on in the day?
Yeah, it is like, it's properly, yeah.
Her eyes are now going so wide that her eye of Avacyn feels like it's going to pop out shortly.
Yeah.
She's not going to say anything to anybody. She's just processing. And possibly drooling a little out the corner of her mouth.
Okay.
Does anyone else have the urge to play dominoes? No? Okay, just me.
With Elora or the things in the room?
Well, maybe you could do both. That could be quite amusing, I suspect.
The Ogvar sort of just prods her in her back and sort of sees if she moves at all.
Cuin's gonna turn to the area and just sense, detect evil in a code. Because there's a few bits and pieces in there that
Yeah, so you...
maybe a bit dodgy to touch.
Yeah, so you know, kind of drop to knee, put your sword in front of you, and pray to Avacyn. You detect evil in this cone, and you most definitely pick up on a couple of items which leave you almost nauseous. They are that kind of evil feeling. But there are also several items in there which kind of give you this lovely peaceful feeling. The exact polar opposite, they feel very divine. A lot of it for you, because you're only sensing kind of evil, and you'll obviously pick up on the divine bits. A lot of it for you is just like blank space on the radar, because it's arcane, it's magical, it's not something you pick up on. But there are several things in this room that, as you perhaps do a little scan around, you go, yeah, that kind of thing in that box which looks very evil, that feels very evil.
So I reckon, like I said, and also this is somebody else's tower who we are trying to get help from. Maybe we'll leave his toys alone and carry up to siesta.
Elora has watched Cuin drop to his knee and start his detecting. Obviously she's seen him do this multiple times before, so she knows exactly what he's doing, and she just casts a very beady eye looking at his reaction, but doesn't say anything.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
In the description, you mentioned a number of things being tied up with red string. Is that like a general theme of what's gone on? There's been a lot of red string being used with just a few items.
So, looking, you can see certain items, they've got red string and little like labels attached with clear like do not touch or whatever. There are certain things which have just got like almost a red piece of fabric tied around it. You'd very much say that this is an example of kind of like a more modern kind of aposematism. So there's kind of sense that something that you'd know as being kind of a wild, like a man from the wilds, is that a lot of creatures which are very dangerous are brightly coloured. It is a natural way of warning other creatures, don't touch me, don't mess with me. Right. You almost get this sense of looking at the bright red colours, you're thinking, that probably means it's dangerous. And they are scattered throughout the room. I mean, whether it be red string, pieces of red fabric tied across things, red fabric draped over things, you can even see several bits which have got like chains around them. It seems to be an indicator of danger, don't touch, kind of thing.
So it's sort of to deduce that, like, as Cuin uses detect magic, can I be and try that one, and try that one, and that one, and that one, and that one over there as well.
Yeah. Ogvar's sense ability to kind of, for both of you, Ogvar's ability to kind of point out items and go, that's a bit dodgy looking, and you to kind of detect magically, you to detect in a divine sense to kind of go, oh yes, that is very dangerous. Ogvar's got a very good power here.
Okay. So,
Shall
what
we?
do we do now? I believe so.
Well, I think there's another set of stairs, so I guess we just keep going.
Okay, you're heading up to the next floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you head up to the next floor, and again, one thing I will mention is this staircase being quite a elegant but simple stone design. This is a theme that's carried on. It's quite an elegant, quite simple design. It's got a banister with, you know, the stone post. It's a decent looking staircase. So you head up to floor number 4. As you walk up, you again have the top of the stairs. You're coming up a small platform, and then the stairs going up again, and again you have this red cordon, this barrier next to this platform. Looking in, this room is well lit. It's lit by not so much eclectic, but what appears to be oil lamps of some sort. They appear to be more uniform, more stable. You haven't got the crazy colours. You haven't got. It appears to be very. I want to say industrial. They are very much the same kind of lantern emitting the same kind of light as a standard. Looking into the room itself, you can see a couple more windows. You can see a fire in the far wall, again with this blue flame burning in the grate. But this is very much an eclectic workshop, you would say. You can hear the sounds of live animals, perhaps a couple of frogs, light chittering of some mice. And you can see some cages with animals in. They look well cared for. They don't appear to be, in distress, kept in bad conditions. They appear to be well cared for. You might see a couple of bird cages with some birds. It appears to be there's a couple of live animals in here. But you can see tools of all kinds. You can see tools which you would probably say are for dissection of some kind. They look more surgical in nature. They are stacked in complete, in a complete opposite to the rest of the building you've seen so far. Everything in this workshop appears to have a place, and they are kept in the place in pristine condition. The sides around this room, because this room is almost lined with tables, big workbenches, they are kept clear. There are no, bits and bobs everywhere. They are kept clear. Any writings, any books are kept orderly and neatly in stacks. This is very obviously a well-managed area. You can also see on the other side of the room, so you've got this kind of more kind of biological kind of theme on the one side. Mm-hmm. It's most definitely more kind of animals, dissection tools. You can see across the walls big kind of sketches of anatomical drawings in a sense. It is very much this kind of, this is biological. This is where we're doing experiments on living things, on dead things. This is, we're cutting things open and examining here. On the other side of the room, on your right hand side, you have what appears to be a more mechanical area. Things here, although kept orderly, are like a bit more in a sense of disarray. There's, clearly you can see smudges of grease in places. There are several, the wall is plastered with pieces of parchment almost stuck together with mechanical drawings on. You can see obviously gears, cogs, levers, very much blueprint kind of designs. They are smudged with grease and dirt and grime. And the area is well kept and clear, but again, you do get the sense that, there's mechanical stuff going on. There is going to be grease, there's going to be a bit of rust, there's going to be a bit of dirt. And you can see stacked under this workbench in clearly labelled boxes are, a box which says cogs, a box which says your levers. Things do spill over, however they are kept tidy, the walkway is kept clear. And this big workbench has got like all sorts of tools, hammers, mallets, screws. I mean, you can see vast arrays of kind of screws, nuts, bolts, washers, everything like that. It appears that this is very much a more mechanical side of things. And in the middle of this room you have a big square table. This is kind of probably the most cluttered part of the room. You can see that things have been kind of mixed here. You can see some mechanical, some biological. It's a bit more of a kind of a no man's land in terms of what's been happening here. You're not really sure how to define it. You can see things like parchment, scrolls, books. You know, it's more of like a general workspace, an observation space, you would say. Maybe you're not 100% sure of what would happen in this central space. There is no clear defined kind of set of works, but it's kept very clean. It smells clean. It smells well cared for. You can't see any dust anywhere, but it's very obviously like a workspace.
Well, this has got very clearly defined areas, isn't it?
It's a lot more tidy than it was downstairs.
And I don't
Yes,
like
I won't
this.
argue.
I don't like this one bit.
You don't like it? Why? What's bothering you, Otto?
Well, someone's obviously very happy pulling apart animals. What's to say that they don't think of people the same way? And I suspect you should treat them identically regardless.
You're assuming they're pulling live animals. They might be dead.
This is true, but would you want to be caged up for the entirety of your life just to be dissected when you are dead?
Well, I think it depends on your perspective.
I suspect the animals within those cages have a different perspective to those of us outside those cages.
Otto, could you, I know you have spoken to Rowan, could you possibly speak to some animals in the cages? Maybe they know or seen what's going on, maybe they've seen Esther come past, or maybe they could tell us what's going on.
That is a very good point, Ogvar. Ogvar makes a very good point, Otto.
He does, but I also have concerns. I think they may be single-minded in what they want to do. I'm happy to try it, but it's not going to bring a smile to my face, I suspect.
Well, we can always liberate them after.
Yes, that is more along the lines of what I'm thinking. Yeah, so if you think we have time, I will in fact cast Speak with Animals.
After a tough afternoon, the tired companions turned their backs on a strangely submerged tower in the lake. They elected instead to trundle down the tunnel and apply the key that they had collected to the dastardly door, hoping that they would finally find their way into the tower and whatever lay beyond. But what they discovered left them mildly bristling, as what appeared to be the bottom floor of the circular building was already playing host to their horses, wagon, and indeed Bojo the bear. Rowan was sent upwards to reconnoitre and report back, but as they ascended the staircase to the second floor, any vestiges of apprehension melted away, replaced only by curiosity, as they discovered a large library, fueling Elora with extreme excitement. The third floor seemed to be a specific storage area for both magical marvels and necromantic nasties lurking in lockboxes, and as their evil emanated and pervaded into the paladin's senses, Cuin gained a case of the heebie-jeebies. As the friends reached the fourth floor, they found what appeared to be a well-lit, terrifically tidy workshop with tools for trades on one side and a plethora of caged creatures on the other, which immediately offended Otto's druidic sensibilities. The party druid's day was not improving either, but what will he decide to do with this latest, less than satisfactory situation? Find out next time in episode 126. Hey, you made it this far, so lend us your ears for a moment longer if you will. Firstly, we are most humbled that you are enjoying our yarn, and the crew thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your patronage. Producing this podcast is incredibly hard work, and as such, if you would like to support us, there are a few ways in which you could really make a difference. Sharing links to friends and family helps to spread the word so others like you can find us, and in turn they too can enjoy the show. Equally helpful is leaving a 5-star review on Spotify and any other streaming services, which will help us immensely. Or, if you feel you could go that extra mile and contribute a few coppers to keep our creative juices flowing, you can hop on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page or drop us an email. We would all be immensely grateful for your support in any form. Lastly, we invite you to visit our website, where you will find information on our campaign from backstories to settings. Join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter. All the links are in our episode bios. Don't forget to smash the subscribe and download buttons so you never miss the next episode. See you all again next week, folks.